Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Virtual Career Fair Crash Course. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to prepare for and participate in virtual career fairs that are held through Hire a Niner. I'm going to start by being logged into a student account in Hire a Niner. By logging into Hire a Niner, you'll be able to see information about any upcoming virtual career fairs, and then you'll also use Hire a Niner to participate in those virtual fairs. So what you see on the screen is I'm logged into a student account in Hire a Niner, and to view information on upcoming career fairs, from the left-hand side, you're going to click Events. And then in the middle of the screen, you're going to see kind of all upcoming events. We can filter just for fairs by clicking on Type and clicking on Career Fairs and Networking Events and selecting Apply. So here we've got a list of upcoming events. This first event, the Fall Career and Internship Fair, is one that's virtual and through Hire a Niner. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. And here you can see an overview, and that includes information about the career fair, the day of the career fair. This information here in this About section will specifically be information for students who are participating in the career fair. So the day of the career fair, when you log in, I definitely recommend checking out that information. You'll be able to see kind of any information about recent changes with employers, key tips or information how to participate in the career fair. Largely what you're seeing right now is information for employers and graduate programs because they're the ones that are registering for the fair. There's also an Employers tab. So we can click on the Employers tab and see a list of all of the organizations that are registered to date. So you'll see kind of basic information and a logo for each of these organizations. And you can click on the organization to view a lot more information. So there's an About section that has the website and some key information about the organization. You'll see information about what the organization is looking for. So maybe what majors they're recruiting, what types of positions they have open. And then at the bottom, you'll see a little bit more information, maybe about the specific positions that they're hiring for, as you can see here. If you're interested to see what jobs the employer may have posted in Hire a Niner, you can click the View All Jobs button. If the employer has any positions posted in Hire a Niner, that will take you to those positions. It's a great idea to check out positions that are posted and to go ahead and apply for any that you're interested in, even before the career fair. So we've got the overview section and the employers section. And then if you are planning to attend the career fair, we do recommend RSVPing in advance. And to RSVP, you just click this Attend button. You don't technically have to RSVP to attend an event. Let's say that it's the day of the career fair and the fair is about to start and you're ready to participate. You could log into Hire a Niner, pull up this career fair, and then at that point, you could click the Attend button and be able to participate in the event. There are a couple of benefits to RSVPing in advance. One of those is that you can make sure that you have a resume included with your RSVP. And that's the resume that employers will see as you chat with them during the event. And then the second piece is that employers can see the students that have RSVP'd for the career fair. And some of them will do some research and kind of take a look at the list of students who have registered. You may even have an employer or two send you an email, kind of encourage you to stop by and see them at the career fair. So I'm going to click the Attend button, kind of RSVP before the event. You can ignore this status button here. It's not time for the career fair, so it's just going to show that we're offline. And then you'll want to choose a resume. If you have any resumes uploaded in Hire a Niner, they'll be in this drop-down box, and you can just choose a resume that you want included with your registration. This is a fake account, so it's got kind of a funny test resume name. If you don't have any resumes uploaded in Hire a Niner, or if you would like to include a different resume with your fair registration, you can click the Add New button, and that will allow you to upload a resume that will then be included with your fair registration. I'll go ahead and click Add New. That's going to take us to the Document section and where I can upload a new document. I do want to point out that if this is the first time that you're uploading a resume to Hire a Niner, it will go through our resume approval process. So we have a process where we're looking for kind of some key basic things with all students' resumes. We want to be sure that students can write a resume that has key basics included. And this is a good kind of overview of what we're looking for on those resumes. To view the specific, like the full checklist, you can click on this resume checklist button. And here you'll see kind of the key things that we're looking for, as well as an example to show you format. So if you are uploading a first resume, make sure you check out these requirements. You want to make sure that you're uploading a resume that will then get approved in time for it to be included with the career fair. All right. So I'll click back on the attend button just to kind of say this information at the bottom is directly from the registrar's office, and that's not editable. And once you kind of have your resume included, if you would like to include one, you can click the Save button. You don't have to include a resume to RSVP or participate in the career fair, but we very, very strongly recommend that. We know that employers are going to be looking to see your resume when they start to chat with you, and so we definitely recommend that. And you can click the Save button once you're done here. It goes back to the event page, and I can see this green banner that tells me that I'm attending the event. I'll also get an email that will let me know that I've RSVP'd for the career fair. Once you've RSVP'd, at any point before the event, if you'd like to go in and make any changes, so if you'd like to change out the resume that you have or add a resume, you can always go back to this page and click on the chat profile, and you could upload a new resume or change out your resume and just save those changes. You can make any changes kind of up to the career fair, and the system will display kind of the current version of your resume that you have included with your RSVP to employers while you're talking with them at the career fair. You can only include one resume in your career fair RSVP. Sometimes students will have tailored resumes. And if that's the case, I would say to include kind of the most broad or kind of traditional resume that you have with your career fair RSVP. And then as you have one-on-one conversations with recruiters, through the system, you'll have access to their contact information. And if you have a tailored resume that's more appropriate for their industry or field, you're certainly welcome to send them an email and let them know that you've attached a resume to that email address. And I can show you a little bit about contact information in just a minute. So again, that's what you can do in the system before the career fair. And now let me jump into my PowerPoint presentation, and we'll take a look at a couple of slides here. So we talked here about RSVPing for the career fair or the event. The other thing that you need to do before the career fair is to research organizations that are registered. By far, when it comes to employers giving us feedback, there's two typical pieces of feedback that they give us. One is that they expect that students will have done at least a little bit of research on their organization before the event. And that means that you'll want to know some basics about their organization, generally what industry they're in, kind of what they do, maybe what types of positions they hire for, maybe where they're located. And I'll show you all. Each of our career fairs is going to have a page like the one that you're seeing here. It has career fair information, and it also has a list of all the employers that are attending. So in addition to seeing this information in Hire-a-Niner, you also can see it on our career fair student page. You can click on any of these and you'll be able to see some of that key information that you were seeing in Hire-a-Niner. And this is a great place to get started with your research. So you can see some good information about what the organization is, what types of positions they're hiring for, and a link to their website for doing a little bit more research. So we definitely recommend that students take a look at the list of the registered organizations, identify a list of ones that you're interested in talking with, do a little research on each of those, and that will help you really be prepared when it comes to the career fair itself. We recommend that you make a list of the organizations that you want to chat with. You might use a Word doc or a Google Doc to store that information. As you're talking with employers, it's likely that you'll have the opportunity to ask a question or two. So it's a great idea to even think about what questions you might want to ask different companies. The kind of questions that you typically don't want to ask would be asking any basics. So you ideally wouldn't want to ask a question like, what does your company do? Because you should ideally know that before going into the career fair. But some types of questions that you might want to ask might be questions about the goals for the position. So a question like, if I were selected for the summer internship, what would my goals be for that summer? What kind of projects would I get to work on? Tell me a little bit about the person who might be my supervisor, or how I would get feedback on my performance. You might ask questions about career paths within the company. You might even ask the interviewer or the recruiter that you're meeting with kind of how they got started in the organization, kind of where their career path has taken them. So questions like that are great ones to ask. And again, I would say to be prepared with 1 or 2 questions for each organization. All right. And I've mentioned a little about resumes, that we strongly recommend that you include a resume with your RSVP. I mentioned the resume approval process or the resume review process. Once you upload your first resume and hire a Niner, that review process can take up to 2 business days. That's another reason why it's a great idea to RSVP in advance, so you can make sure that your resume has gone through that approval process. Some additional resources to help you all with resumes include that we have our career guide. It's a big icon on the front page of our website, and that is career.charlotte.edu. And we've got an entire section in the career guide about resumes, including 6 to 10 different resume examples, some power verbs, information on kind of how to include some good bullet points for typical student jobs, and other information like that. Once you upload your first resume and hire a Niner, you will, within 48 hours, 48 business hours, you'll receive an email with feedback about your resume. You also could email your resume to our peer career inbox. That email address is on this slide. So you can email your resume to them for feedback. And if you have your LinkedIn profile listed on your resume, which is an option, it's a great idea to go ahead and check that out, so that you can be sure that you feel good about your LinkedIn profile if it's on your resume. And just a couple of quick tips about getting through the resume approval process. The key things that I see that students maybe miss on their resume would be that you need to include UNC Charlotte in your education section. And it really should be the first thing in that section, since it's the most recent thing. So include the university, include the name of your major or your degree, and include your graduation date, the month and the year. Throughout your resume, you shouldn't have any full sentences. You shouldn't be using any personal pronouns like I, me, my. Instead, you're going to rely on bulleted statements. We find that employers typically spend 15 to 30 seconds when they're reviewing a resume. So that's why we say no full sentences, because your resume needs to be able to be read really quickly. And then when talking about your experience, you need to include the employer, your position title, the dates that you worked there, as well as some bullet points with key accomplishments and key work that you've done. And then the other thing that can be really helpful for students is if before the career fair, you prepare what we call your elevator pitch. It's also called an elevator speech or a 30-second commercial. And it's the idea of preparing an introduction. So kind of thinking about the first thing that you might say to an employer at a career fair. It might also be the kind of thing that you might say if you're asked the question, tell me about yourself, and what are you going to say? And I think it can be really helpful to prepare that in advance. And typically with that kind of introduction, you're going to share your name, your major or degree. You're going to share perhaps where you are in your program. So if you're a senior or a junior, if you just started the master's degree program, something like that. You might give say a sentence or two about key experience or skills that you've gained, and then maybe what you're looking for now. So you might end your elevator pitch by saying that you're looking for a summer internship, or you're graduating in May and look forward to having a full-time job. So more information is in the career guide about an elevator pitch, but it can be really useful to do some preparation of that in advance. And then virtual career fairs through Hire a Niner are based on video chats. So the vast majority of the conversations that you'll have will be through video chat. On a rare occasion, we find that employers will do voice only kind of chat, but 99.9% of them will do video chat. So it is important that you're kind of ready for those video chats. So testing out your technology, making sure your audio and video is working well, trying to be in ideally kind of a calm space or a quiet space for participating in the career fair. You might be able to use a virtual background, but it's a great idea to make sure that what's behind you is kind of neat and clean, just in case you can't use a virtual background. So some tips like that. It's a great idea to have your device, to set up your device so that the camera lens is at eye contact for you, so that you're not looking down or looking up at the little camera. So some tips like that in terms of getting ready for the video chats at the fair. All right, and then I'll also mention attire. A few minutes ago, I mentioned that employers have two very common pieces of feedback when it comes to career fairs. One of them is that they really expect that students will have done their research beforehand, and the other one is about student dress. And so for the career fair, you'll want to dress at least business casual, if not business professional. So career fairs are not a good time for wearing t-shirts, athletic wear, anything casual, anything with like slogos on it or logos on it. Instead, you'll want to wear something that's kind of a blouse that has buttons, that has collars. If you can dress business professional, which would include a suit jacket, that's the best advice, or that's the ideal. But if you don't have a suit jacket, just dress as professionally as you can for the event. Also talking about, so now we're talking about at the career fair itself. So when you get to the career fair, I have some screenshots here of what it's like to participate in the career fair. And some of this is similar to what you saw with the career fair beforehand. So there's still an overview section, which you'll be able to see information. And there's an employers section where it has the list of employers there. You'll still be able to click on employers and view information about them. Two new tabs may show up. One is video chats, and that shows the video chats that you're waiting on or that you've already had. And there may be a jobs tab. Now it's good to know that we've decided not to include career fair jobs. So we've decided not to use this jobs tab because of some previous technical issues. Once you're in an employer's profile, there is a link to see their jobs, and that still works. But I expect that you'll find that this jobs tab here, if it shows up, it's going to be empty, and that's fine. So you've still got these sections. And then I wanted to point out on the right-hand side, you do have a list of any queues that you're in. So let me stop and kind of explain a little bit about kind of the career fair itself. So in Hire a Niner, we try to make the career fair, the virtual career fair, as similar to an in-person career fair as possible. So if you haven't been to an in-person career fair, how it works is that you show up at a physical space. Each organization or employer has a table in that space, and you walk up to a table to talk with one of the recruiters from that organization. And if there's a line of students, you'll kind of wait in line. And when you get to the front of that line, of course, you'll have that conversation. So Hire a Niner tries to take that in-person experience and put it in a virtual setting. So during the career fair, if there's an employer you're interested in talking with, you'll join that employer's queue, and that would be like joining their line. Once you get to the front of that queue or the front of their line, then you'll be invited to video chat with that employer. So if you're looking at an employer's profile here, there's a button to the right-hand side, kind of has a speech bubble with a plus sign. You can click on that icon, and that will put you in that employer's queue. Unlike an in-person career fair, where you can only be in one line at a time, you can at virtual career fairs, you can join up to 5 queues at a time. So if you wanted to talk to, for example, Bank of America and Wells Fargo and the Peace Corps, you could join each of their queues at the same time. The system will keep track of your place in their line, and it won't let more than one employer invite you to chat at the same time. So for example, you're in those three queues. Let's say you get to the front of the Peace Corps queue and the Peace Corps representative sends you an invite to chat. If at the same time you ended up at the top of the Wells Fargo queue, the system will kind of hold your place in line and won't let Wells Fargo send you an invite to chat because the system knows that you're chatting with the Peace Corps. And once you're done chatting with the Peace Corps, your place in Wells Fargo's line and Bank of America's line will kind of become active again. So it's going to hold your place in those other lines. So it's a great way to make good use of your time to join multiple queues. So joining queues for employers you're interested in chatting with, and you can join up to 5 at one time. When you're in the career fair on the right-hand side, there'll be a screen that says upcoming video chats, and that will list out the organizations whose queues that you're in and kind of who you're waiting to chat with. All right. So I definitely wanted to mention that quite a few employers will be offering one-on-one video chats. And that's a little bit of what we were talking about. You joining an employer's queue, and when you get to the front of that queue, then you being able to video chat with that employer. But some employers, up to maybe 30 to 40% of employers at any career fair offer group chat. They might offer group chat instead of one-on-one chat, or they might offer group chat in addition to one-on-one chat. So when you open an employer's profile, there'll be a group chat button, and you can click on that link. And if the employer is offering a group chat, you'll see a video chat link when you click on the group chat. And you can click on that video chat link to go to that employer's group chat. And group chat is typically designed for one of two things. Group chat may be a way for you to just kind of chat a little more informally with people from the company. So let's say maybe you're interested in a company, you're interested in Lowe's, but maybe you have a few questions about the types of roles they might have available. Or maybe you want to ask if they hire students with your major. Those are great questions to do in a group chat. So you can click on the group chat button, kind of go into that room, and maybe be able to ask those questions to one of their recruiters. Some employers may use their group chat for brief information sessions. So for example, you might see on their profile page that they're going to offer information sessions at 12, 12:30, and 1 p.m. And so you would know that if you're interested in learning more about the company and how to get hired with them, you could join their group chat at 12 or 12:30 or 1, knowing that there'll be a 10, 15, 20-minute information session to learn more about the organization. So do be on the lookout for those group chats, because there are definitely quite a few employers that will offer that. Probably one of the biggest kind of tips I can offer you all is when you're during the career fair, when you're looking at the list of employers, you're going to see kind of these three pieces of information. You're going to see the name of the employer, you're going to see how many representatives are online, and you're going to see an estimated wait time. If you are looking at a company and it says that there are no representatives online, it may be that that company is offering group chat and not one-on-one chat. So just because a company is listed as having 0 representatives online does not mean that they're not there. It just may mean that they're doing group chat. So even if you see 0 representatives online, I encourage you to click on that employer's name, click on the group chat button, and see if there's a group chat link there, because anyone who's offering group chat just won't show up as having any representatives online. So don't let 0 representatives online, don't let that stop you from checking out the company. It may just be that they're offering group chat. In this second screenshot here, just wanted to show you that once you join an employer's queue, you always have the option to leave their queue. So you're never kind of locked in. If you decide you need to take a break or decide not to talk with a specific employer, you just click the leave queue button, and that will take you out of their line. All right. And so let's say that you're in one or more employer queues, right? So you're in their queues, you're kind of waiting in line. What happens when when you get to the front of the line and now it's your turn to talk to the employer? A couple of things happen. So we'll look at the top screenshot here. So 3 or so things will happen. One is you'll see this small pop-up on your screen that pops up and says like the company's name is ready to chat and has a join chat link. If you're on the employer's page, you'll also see that this company now has a green ready to chat text here, and there's now a join chat button. In your upcoming video chats link, there's also a ready to chat message here. And finally, in most browsers, you'll hear an audible ding. I believe with Safari, you may not hear the ding. But with other browsers, you'll hear a ding that will let you know that an employer has invited you to chat. As soon as you kind of see that messaging, click on the join chat button. That will let you see the employer's video chat information. I definitely encourage you to kind of do that as quickly as possible. We know that kind of if an employer sends out an invite and kind of invites you to chat, and if they have to wait for more than a minute or two, they may move on to the next candidate. Once you click this join chat, one of these join chat links, this second screenshot is what you'll see. So you'll see the company's name, you'll see the name and possibly the picture of the recruiter that you'll be chatting with, and you'll see their email address. In the middle of the page, you'll see their video chat instructions. And so that'll be a link that you can go to. And we encourage employers to provide alternate contact information, like a phone number, in case you are having any issues accessing their video chat. Each employer uses their own video chat system. Many of them will use Microsoft Teams, and then the second most popular one would be Zoom. So during a career fair, you may end up using multiple video chat softwares or systems as you talk to different employers. So again, you would click on that link to go to their meeting, and that should open up a new screen or a new tab and let you kind of join in with that employer. All right, some additional tips here. It's a great idea kind of at the end of your conversation to ask about next steps. Definitely thank them for taking the time to be a part of the fair. And then I'll also mention that at each virtual career fair, the very first employer in the list on the day of the career fair is what we call a help desk. And that's where we have Career Center, career coaches in that room. And if you have any questions about the event, or if you have questions about other career topics, like, I have an interview set up now, how do I get ready? Hey, can I practice my elevator pitch with you? So any questions like that, you can go into the help desk and you can join the help desk queue the same way you would with any employer. And then you'll have the opportunity to chat one-on-one with one of our career coaches so that you can ask your questions. All right. And then a final piece I wanted to mention is anytime you've participated in a career fair and talked with an employer, also anytime you've done an interview, it's a great idea to send a thank you note, so a thank you email within 2 business days. After the career fair, you can log back into Hire a Niner, and you can view your video chats tab, and that will show you all the contact information for any employers that you did a one-on-one chat with. Also, and even easier, at around 8 p.m. the evening after a career fair, you will get an email from Hire a Niner that will include a summary of all of the organizations you chatted with, the individual names of the contacts you chatted with, and their email address. And so that's a great email to be on the lookout for. That gives you the information that you need, and definitely recommend that you then, within the next day or two, send a brief thank you email to each of those organizations you chatted with, thanking them for choosing to participate in the career fair. It's a great idea to mention maybe something specific you all talked about. So maybe that recruiter is also a UNC Charlotte alum. So something like that. Great idea to attach your resume and maybe say if you are still interested in their roles. All right. So that kind of goes over the basics of getting ready for and participating in the fair, and a little bit on what to do afterwards. I hope this has been really helpful for you. Again, the day of the career fair, if you get into the fair and realize you have questions, just go to the help desk, join the help desk queue, and you'll be able to talk to one of our career coaches about any questions that you have.